Yeah, I think it's coming together really nicely. We've been pretty intentional about trying to get the group together in some social settings at the meals and such, trying to get them to really bond. We think that's a really important component of how we can be successful, is if the chemistry between the players is really, really good and the bonds between them are really tight. So it's a major objective for this Charleston trip as well. It'll be our first chance to kind of get the guys away from other folks, families, etc., and have them spending more time and eating meals together, all 3 meals a day. So we think that's headed in a really positive direction. I think the tactical work and the physical work that we've put in this preseason has been quite good, quite detailed. I think all of the players are really coming to a pretty firm understanding of what we're looking to do this year, how we're trying to play, and who we want to be. So I think we're headed in a very good direction, which isn't to say we're ready yet, but we still have a couple of weeks to get there.
Next question, Jose.
Hi, Jason. I wanted to ask you about the process of collaboration that's normal between any coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like between you and Phil? You come with ideas to them, and how receptive is he to
Yeah.
that? That's my first question.
Yeah.
And the second one, are there any players that are not traveling with the team?
Let me answer the second one first because it's easier. It's an organizational piece. No, all the players will be traveling to Charleston. As I said, we one of our major focuses is building team chemistry, building bonds. So they're all going to be there, which is great, really, really fantastic. And we'll travel with the full staff so that we're continuing return to play protocols to get those guys ready, hopefully, for the Chicago match. From the first perspective, the first part of your question there about how Phil and I work together, it's been absolutely fantastic. It's really, I have very little experience being an assistant coach. Went right from being a player to being a head coach in MLS for quite a few years. And so it's my first time really doing this job on a full-time basis. I had done a little bit of assistant coaching under Greg Berhalter in some of the national team camps over the last 18 months. But this is my first time doing it full-time. And I think the relationship has been absolutely excellent. Phil is very, very receptive to ideas from anybody in the coaching staff. And we have started, I would say this year, probably working a little more closely than we had last year. And have had a lot of discussions about how we see the tactics and how we see the group and how we're trying to build this team and what we're trying to be. And so it's been a super good relationship. And I think, as I said, I think the entire coaching staff as well as the performance staff has done a really nice job of communicating and collaborating to get us to a place where we feel, like I said, like we're getting ready. We're getting close.
We're going to take a couple of questions on the call. First, Michelle Kaufman, then Mike DiPasquale. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi, sorry I can't be there, and I'm sorry if there's any background noise. I'm at a Starbucks in Jupiter. Anyway, Jason, can you talk about DeAndre? What does he bring the team? I mean, you have a lot of experience with him, obviously, from over the years. What does he bring this team on and off the field? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, let's talk about on the field. I mean, he's an international quality player. He's a national U.S. men's national team player that represents some particular qualities that we've been looking for. We want our fullbacks or wingbacks, whichever system we're playing, we want those guys to be involved in the attack. We want those guys to be sending in crosses. We want them to be in the box to score goals. And he has the type of volume and ability, aerobic capacity to be in and around those things. So we think it's going to be a really important piece for us from a tactical point of view. From a personality point of view, he's a competitor. He's a fighter. And I think you've seen that really from day one. When he entered MLS, there was no fear about him. That's what led him to do so well and get a contract over in Europe. So he has that fighting mentality. He has that hunger. He has the ability to lead and to motivate the players around him. So and we kind of addressed that last year. We were lacking some of that. So really, really nice piece to add for us, both from an on-field perspective as well as an off-field perspective.
Next question, Mike DiPasquale, then Ian Hest.
Thank you, Ralph. Jason, I'm not at a Starbucks, so don't worry about the signal being cut out.
Which coffee shop are you at?
If I can follow up on DeAndre, both Phil said that he brings big game experience because of his national team experience, and Damian Lowe said the same thing because they played against each other in CONCACAF. Mm-hmm. What does that experience do when you have a player that's part of the national team that comes and plays for your club? Because you've been around national team players.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have. I think that it's just that. It's to have players that have experienced playing in the highest pressure situations. And in my view, and it's still somewhat limited, right? I wasn't a player that maybe was at that caliber that much. I would tell you that that those guys representing your country in World Cup qualification, in World Cups, in Gold Cups, representing your country is, I think, the ultimate pressure situation, because you don't feel like there's this, small community or even large city like Miami of fan base that you're representing. You represent your entire country, and you feel that pressure. And I would say over the last 5 or 6 years, especially even in this country, it's become a very, very high pressure packed situation, because now we didn't qualify for the last World Cup. We're expected to qualify for every World Cup, so I don't think there's much out there that represents more pressure on a player than representing your country. And then in order to be able to come here and transmit that to our club, I think we're blessed with that.
If I can follow up real quick, Phil said that he viewed DeAndre as the last piece to the jigsaw. With all these changes, do you view it the same way?
Yeah, I think there may be a piece or two still coming, but we're very, very happy with where the team is right now, with the build of the team, and I do think that he's a really, really important piece, no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Next question, Ian Hest.
Thank you, Rafa, and thank you, Jason, for taking my question. I want to kind of expound upon what Mike and Michelle were talking about, and the idea of DeAndre as a wingback is very important. But he's sort of moved forward in the pitch as he's progressed in his career. How do you see that in terms of your tactical style and what you want to do with him, but also the pressure that he's come under as he's been that U.S. men's national team standout over the years, and how he can help guide a younger squad in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, for what I see that's interesting about DeAndre, there's so many things that are interesting about him. But if we just look at the perspective of where he's come from, right? He was a Seattle developed player, developed in and around Seattle Sounders. So he has the experience of being sort of a homegrown player that's thrust into the fire there with their first team. I think that he was actually developed as a winger first and then moved back the field to become what really is an attacking fullback, which is the way a lot of teams are going here in the last 10 to 15 years, with really attack minding fullbacks or wingbacks. And so for us, he just checks a lot of boxes. He checks from a tactical point of view. He checks from a personality point of view. He checks from a leadership point of view. And I think that last bit that I just kind of really recognizing now is that we want to be a club that develops young players, that has homegrown players come from our academy right into our first team. So him having that experience, he could be really useful to some of our young players as well.
Andrea?
Jason, I wanted to ask you a tactical question. I've been asking Phil and all the players if your guys are going to play with the line 4, line 5, with Yedlin coming in, Gibbs and all that. But I wanted to ask you now in attack, because you have a lot of possibilities in attack. And is this team going to play with one striker, two strikers? How do you see it in the future? How do you see it for that game in Chicago?
I feel you're trying to trick me a little bit. I feel as I'm being laid bare here a little bit, trying to be tricked into telling you what our formation is going to be. And of course, we couldn't tell you that. I mean, I would just tell you that I do think we've added some really nice options in the attack. We've added some real speed, which I think we lacked last year. We've added some quality about just interchange of players. And so what we feel like we've got real tactical flexibility this year. And I think that could be one of our weapons, is to be able to shift shapes from one game to the next and keep our opponents guessing.
Good. Thank you, Coach. We're good to go.
You're welcome.